9/11, all those firemen. Smoke thick with poison spread through the air and the lungs of our troops, and Bo, like many others, shortly after he got home, he was diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma, which is a death sentence. He lasted for, thank you, man. He lasted for a long while, but Bo was Attorney General of Delaware at the same time she was Attorney General of California. As I said, he told me, Dad, she's an extraordinary leader. She's the next generation. Take a look at her, Dad. And she's been that and more to me. I'm one of the few people in American history who's been vice president and president, and I know both jobs, what they take. And I can tell you, Kamala Harris has been a great vice president. She'll be a great president as well. When I decided it was time to pass the torch to the next generation, I knew who I wanted to replace me. I endorsed Kamala immediately. And if you've seen the campaign Kamala's run, it proves I'm right. The enthusiasm has been off the charts. Her convention was great. She beat Trump so badly in the debate, he's scared to death to beat her again. That's a fact. Tough guy, right? Tough guy. Because he knows he'd lose again. That's a fact. He is a loser. Look, now I'm proud of our record the past 4 years. Maybe you saw Rachel Maddow last night, who did raised a lot of questions. You're going to make business decisions about who's doing a better job in the economy. She said, the Biden-Harris economy has been not only left every other rich country in the world in the dust, it's left the Trump administration in the dust. Well, folks, that wasn't hard to leave him in the dust. I think he lives in the dust. We created 16 million jobs, more jobs than has been created in a single term in all of American history. More people are working today than ever before. Wages for working people are higher than they've ever been before. And more people have health care insurance than before. And what does Trump want to do if he wins? He wants to use his favorite word, terminate. No, I'm serious. This guy means what he says, man. He wants to terminate the Affordable Care Act. He's been trying to succeed, and he failed every time. If he does, though, 40 million Americans will lose their health care. 40 million. And 100 million will lose their protections because they have pre-existing conditions. Trump likes to call himself pro-business. We all know Trump is a failed businessman. He inherited $100 million. And he got bankrupt how many times I can't keep track. Including bankrupting the casino in Atlantic City was pretty hard to do. How's that possible? I thought the House always won. Trump wasn't only a loser in 2020, he's a loser in everything he does. Meanwhile, on our watch, business of all sizes are surging. A record number of small business applications is 19 million so far since we've gotten elected. And every single application is an act of hope. Folks, remember when Trump got elected, if he got elected, he told him, if I got elected, the stock market would crash. I just wish I was listening for 36 years as the poorest man in Congress, so I didn't have any stock. But anyway. But if he means the stock market crashed through record highs, he was actually right. It's highest it's ever been in American history. And by the way, it must be irritating to a guy to turn to Fox News and hear the Biden-Harris stock market is stronger than ever in history. Well, look, folks, unemployment is at historic lows for everyone, including blacks and Latinos. We have the smallest racial wealth gap in 20 years. Wages have grown faster than inflation for more than a year now. Inflation is down at 2.4%. In fact, it's now back to pre-pandemic levels and still going down, not up, down. Along with it, interest rates are beginning to drop. The data shows the benefits of economic recovery are benefiting working and middle-class folks more than the top. New data from the National Labor Relations Board shows the number of workers filing for union representation has doubled since I became president. Doubled. But you got it, man. My grandfather would roll over in his grave if I wasn't. He'd say, Joey, from Scranton, he'd say, Joey, you're a union from belt buckle to shoe sole. He said it a little more colorfully than that. The Biden-Harris administration is the first administration in 5 decades to increase union petitions. Simple. They know, you know, Kamala and I know. Wall Street didn't build America. The middle class did, and unions built the middle class. And that's a fact. And I make no apologies for being the most pro-union president in American history. Folks, I mean it. Under our administration, we made the most significant investment in public safety in history. $15 billion to law enforcement through the American Rescue Plan. And not a single Republican voted for it. The result, violent crime is down to a 50-year low. The murder reached the largest ever reduction. And Trump's response, lie after lie, that somehow the stats are fake. He says they're making up the numbers. Not only that, for weeks, Kamala and I negotiated the strongest bipartisan border deal in American history. One of the most conservative senators from Oklahoma and a progressive Democrat from Connecticut worked 4 weeks on it. Got it passed, introduced it into Congress. What happened? It funded more agents, judges, high-tech machinery, and all the like. But Trump knew it was a good deal. So he got on the phone and started calling Republicans. Say, quote, you can't vote for this because it will help Biden and hurt me. He's a great American, isn't he? So Trump and the Republicans killed the deal. But Kamala and I didn't stop. We surged resources, increased enforcement. We took executive action. We're working with Mexico, and despite all of Trump's friends say, there are fewer border crossings today than the day he left office, right now. But let me say it again. There are fewer people coming to this country legally as I stand right now than the day he left office. We're going to, look, I got to say, Kamala will say, she's going to do more for comprehensive reform. That's one of the main things that got to get done. So let's set the record straight. More people are working today in America than any time since Trump left office. That's just a fact. More people have health insurance than when Trump was president. More people are earning higher wages. The stock market is even higher. 401ks are stronger. Violent crime is down, murder is down, fewer people are crossing the border. And Trump calls that a hellscape. Talks about America being a failed nation. Where the hell is he from? No, I'm serious. Think about it. A president calling America a failed nation makes me angry. I say America's winning. We're the most powerful nation in the world, the most respected nation in the world. And every other country in the world like to be like. Trump says we're losers, but the only loser I know is Donald Trump. Look, don't get me wrong, there's more work to be done. Kamala and I have specific plans to bring down the cost of housing, child care, elder care, and more. How we solve these challenges will help make the next president who's president. Every president has to cut their own path. That's what I did. I was loyal to Barack Obama, but I cut my own path as president. That's what Kamala's going to do. She's been loyal so far, but she's going to cut her own path. How to further economic growth. How to keep making it easier to start and grow business. How to make a border more secure. How to make health care even more affordable. How to make housing more affordable. How to make child care and elder care more affordable. All of which, if we do, actually grows the economy and cuts the deficit. Folks, Kamala will take the country in her own direction. And that's one of the most important differences in this election. Kamala's perspective on our problems will be fresh and new. Donald Trump's perspective is old and failed and, quite frankly, thoroughly, totally dishonest. Look, what's his idea for our economy? He says he wants to give another tax cut, a $5 trillion tax. That's not a joke. A $5 trillion tax cut for the wealthy. Last time he did a $2 trillion tax cut and set the biggest debt, increased the national debt more than any other president has in any single term. And by the way, to pay his taxes to the wealthy, he wants to cut Social Security and Medicare. Not a joke. Not a joke. In addition to terminating the Affordable Care Act, he wants to repeal what we did to lower prescription drug costs. He wants to bow down to Big Pharma again. Kamala and I finally beat Big Pharma. We gave Medicare the power to negotiate prescription drugs like the FDA does for veterans. Look, The VA and seniors with disabilities are now paying $35 a month instead of $400. And starting in January, all the seniors on Medicare will have a total prescription drug cost capped at $2,000 a year, no matter how much they have to spend. Okay, cancer drugs. Excuse me. We ain't going back. By the way, our Medicare reforms not only save seniors the Medicare money, you know how much they save the taxpayers? $160 billion, that one passage. Why? Because Medicare is paying $35 instead of $400, for example. Trump wants to take all that away. But Kamala wants to expand everything so it exists for everybody in the nation. Look, he wants to cover the elder under Medicaid. Trump would get rid of the $369 billion Kamala and I passed, most ever in the history of the world, to deal with climate change. And by the way, no climate change out there, right? I just spent a week from Florida to North Carolina. It's devastating. You know why? Because the ocean water is warming, increasing significantly the threats of significant weather. How does it make you feel after the last hurricane that I ripped through this country, knowing that we're going to cut back on? And look, Trump wants a new sales tax. A new sales tax on goods we import in significant numbers. Up to 85% of all the seafood we eat is imported. 60% of the fresh fruit, 40% of the vegetables. We import coffee, clothing, and so much more. And according to all the economists, if his sales tax were to, in fact, pass, the average family would have an increase in their cost of $400 a year. Or $4,000 a year, excuse me. $4,000. And look, it's a surprise that we got a guy who can't afford to say the word union, wants to get overtime and hardworking folks taken away. No, he's doing it again. That's what he says. He said he and his allies, they support workers and the middle class. Give me a break. Look, this is from the same guy who calls himself a great protector of women. Come on. Folks, look, there's the same guy who's been held liable for $83 million for sexual abuse and defamation. Same guy for getting rid of Roe v. Wade. The same guy who has 3 other major cases waiting for him when he loses. And by the way, 34 felonies. So far, he hadn't got sentenced. He got the sentence kicked back, but I want to watch that sentence. Look, Donald Trump's not running for you. He's running for himself. I think he's running to stay out of jail. What's he got left? Trump's whole come down to demonizing immigrants, call immigrants animals, saying they don't have good genes, saying they poison the blood of our country. It's sick. You know, it's designed to prey on our worst fears. It's un-American. Think about it. Trump hides all his racism, or used to, but now it's just out front. He has the same ideas on race as the 1930s. Trump's ideas in the economy are from the 20s. Trump's ideas in women are from the 50s. And folks, this is 2024. We can't go back. We've made too much progress. We have to keep moving forward. And folks, for all the talk about issues and policies is all important, the real measure of a president is character, integrity, judgment, temperament. Because here's what I can tell you. Every president is confronted with crises no one saw coming. And in that moment, What matters about a president is the president. Does he have integrity? Does she have integrity? A code of honor that they live by. What belief system guides their decisions? How do they handle pressure? How do they respond when things don't go their way? Will they uphold their oath and honor the Constitution? With Donald Trump, we know the answer. Just ask yourself, how did Donald Trump handle COVID crisis when he saw it coming? How we know from Bob Woodward's book how Trump lacks character and can't be trusted. Trump deliberately led the American people to believe that it wasn't a dangerous thing, COVID. I remember how he told us to inject bleach. Remember that? Bless me, Father. In the middle of the COVID crisis, this guy gave Putin, we came out recently, he gave Vladimir Putin COVID tests that were desperately needed by Americans at home, and he gave it to Putin. Trump cares more about kissing up to Putin than he cares about your sons and daughters. You know, we lost over 1 million people in COVID. Think about how many we could have saved if it wasn't for his pure incompetence and selfishness. Think about the 2020 election Trump lost. Kamala beat him by 7 million votes, but Trump couldn't accept it, despite the rulings of more than 60 courts, including the Supreme Court. He embraced the big lie that threatened the lives of elected officials and poll workers. He sent violent mobs to the U.S. Capitol on January 6th to stop a peaceful transfer of power. He sat in the dining room off of my president's office, the Oval Office, and did nothing for 3 hours as police were being attacked and killed. Lawmakers were forced to hide for their lives. According to the report, when Trump told the mob was looking for Mike Pence to hang him, you know what Trump's response was? So what? Let me tell you something. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. If you can't announce January 6th, you have no business being president. And look, Trump hasn't changed. I would argue he lost the election in 2020. He snapped. No, I mean it. He become unhinged. Look at his rallies. Last night, his rallies stopped taking questions because someone got hurt. And guess what? He stood on the stage for 30 minutes and danced. I'm serious. What's wrong with this guy? Listen to him, how he's going to, after the institution of democracy, if Trump is elected again, he says he'll use the Justice Department to attack his political enemies. He says he'll fire 500,000 civil servants and replace them with Trump loyalists. He just said he could use the U.S. military to go after U.S. citizens he disagrees with. He said it. He still refuses to accept the results of 2020. And he's refusing to accept the results of the 2024 election if he loses again. Look, folks, every generation faces a moment where democracy has to be defended. This is our moment. I believe in my core. When we beat Trump in 2020, we saved American democracy. Now we have to do it again in 2024. Folks, let me close with this. More than anything in this election, we have to decide who we want, what we want America to be. Who is America? Kamala will be president who believes in America that still stands for the core proposition that stated in this nation, started this nation, right here in Philly, where the Declaration of Independence was signed, where the Constitution was written, where we determine the power of our institutions of government are determined by the power of the people. The power-based, the very idea of America, we're all created equal, deserve to be treated equal through our lives. We've never fully lived up to it. Unlike Trump, we've never walked away from it. And I'll be damned if we'll walk away from it now. Folks, we've got a lot of work to do, especially here in Pennsylvania, especially in Philadelphia. How you go and what you turn out is going to determine the outcome of this election. We have to talk to our friends, our families, our neighbors, our coworkers. We have to beat back the lies with truth. And most of all, we have to vote and get out the vote. Philadelphia, are you ready? Well, let's get this done. Let's remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And nothing is beyond our capacity. when we work together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
That's why your love keep on lifting me higher, higher,
Thank you.
higher. I said your love keep on lifting me higher and higher.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you.